What's going on, everyone? Sparky Studs here, and welcome to my review of set 7752 Count Dooku's Solar Sailor with 385 pieces with 4 minifigures. Came out in 2009 and retailed for $55. A little expensive back then for what it was. Nowadays, though, if you want this set sealed in box, it's going to be about $300. Definitely has accrued some value that we will get into here shortly. I am very excited to review this set, so without further ado, let's get right into the minifigs. First figure we're going to take a look at is Count Dooku. He looks very good with that Clone Wars face print and a very nice chest printing, albeit a bit minimal. However, highlight for me is definitely that Clone Wars hairpiece and also the curved lightsaber, which definitely complements Dooku. He does have that harder cape material, this more stiffer material. You wouldn't see that nowadays. They use more of a sponge material, but the hard cape is a bit nostalgic for me. However, I do wish he had some other form of printing. He doesn't even have a second face, no back printing, waist printing, or leg printing, which, yeah, at 2009 was a bit of a standard, but it really would have made this Count Dooku shine. He also does come with a hood piece, which looks good, except of the fact that it doesn't really match the brown of the cape, but overall a very nice Count Dooku. Next up, we have the Magna Guard. He looks very good. You did get 2 in this set, which is very appreciated, especially for that $55 price tag. I love the headpiece they use. The molded headpiece looks good. They can honestly release this today with no updates and I would still eat it up. They also have that very nice cape piece. I especially love the tearing in it, the whole, like, it's not a straight cape. It looks very rough and rugged and I definitely love it. The Electro Staff looks cool. I think, again, they could have maybe use a black bar or maybe a silver, but I think the light gray works. However, something that has always bothered me with the Magna Guards is the arms. I understand why they gave him the arms, because they wanted it to have posability. I just think maybe a molded piece would have been nice, but overall, a very good figure. Lastly, we have the one exclusive fig in this set, being the pilot droid. He is definitely a unique one. His main body is just the normal battle droid body done in white. However, his head, which I think is pretty funny, is the skeleton leg piece, which is definitely interesting, but I think it definitely looks good. It's definitely, like I said, a unique figure, but one that is definitely needed for the set, given that someone has to pilot the Solar Sailor. Before we get into the Solar Sailor, I quickly want to get into the side build, Count Dooku's speeder. It looks very good, nice shaping on the back and the front. However, the bottom does leave a bit to be desired. Maybe some inverted slopes might have helped the shaping, but you'll understand why it has that shape momentarily. When putting Count Dooku in the Solar Sailor, though, is where it gets a little bit more interesting. Normally you would take off the cape or put the cape behind the seat, but Lego instructs you to put the cape behind him on the gray slope, and it does look good. Like, it does look like he's sort of zooming past and his cape sort of fluttering and flailing behind him. However, I worry about bending my cape. To be fair, I don't play with my Lego sets, so probably never have this issue, but it is something to point out. Also, behind him, you will find these 2 black clips where you can find his lightsaber. It's kind of an eyesore, but I understand that there's not really anywhere else to put his lightsaber, or his hood for that matter. But it does, for a kid playing with it, it is nice to keep it all together. Now to the Solar Sailor, starting with the exterior. It looks very good, very sleek, definitely captures the likeness of the Solar Sailor, but I especially love the dark tan mixed in to sort of break up the dark brown and dark gray. Very nice shaping overall. Now getting to the features of the set, starting with the back, you're going to find a bit of a weird gap in between the back, which may look a bit ugly, but it serves for this feature. So what you can do is you can actually take these 2 spherical gray pieces and you can actually open them up. They're just on some hinge pieces, and there you will find a spot to slot in Count Dooku's speeder. It's a very nice way to sort of keep everything together, and you can also put Dooku in his Solar Sailor, which is a very nice thing that the designers did. And as you can see, Count Dooku sits very nicely in there, and it's very nice that you can see him in there. Now to the bottom of the set, you will find some landing gear to sort of help the ship not topple over on one side. They put these gray fins on the bottom to more or less help stabilize the ship, and it is retractable, which is a very nice inclusion. However, something I think that's a bit weird about the landing gear is how you actually build it and how you use it. You have to put this little hinge piece on in between two brown plates, and then you just turn the hinge piece and drop the landing gear. It's a technique I don't think I've ever seen before, and I don't even know if any other sets have used this. If you know any, let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's a very weird building technique, but it does work and is very effective. Getting up to the front of the ship, you will find the cockpit, and you may notice it's a little hard to open it up. Doesn't really open up very nicely, so you kind of have to pull these panels up, and then you can freely open it, where you will find a little section, a little weird sort of pilot area for your pilot droid, which it does look funny, but the Solar Sailor is a funny ship, so I would definitely not put it past them to build a goofy looking pilot area. But you can just clip him to the bar and then sort of seat him like that. That's how it shows in the instructions, but I'm sure you can put his feet on the brown plate back there. And then you can just slot him into the hole right there where the white bar is, and just slide the brick in there, and your pilot droid will be seated inside. You do have to bend his head down, which does look a little weird. It's like he's looking down, which if you're driving the Solar Sailor, you shouldn't be doing. And of course, no Lego set is complete without some sort of missiles. You can see right here, there's this gray sort of lever piece, and you can use that to push out one of the purple tipped missiles. However, in my experience, I wasn't really able to get it to shoot well. Maybe that's just how I was using it. And you can load them in just like that. You do kind of have to push the lever back so it doesn't get stuck. But yeah, all around, it's a great inclusion, and I actually really like how well this is hidden. Now getting into the main play feature in putting the Solar Sailor in flight mode, and what you could do is you can grab the back like so and then open up each of these panels. There are 4, they move independently, and you can put the Solar Sailor in flight mode, and it does look very good. However, I will say that it is very cumbersome to sort of swoosh around. You can see the pilot droid in there, which does look good, it does look cool. But like I said, it's just a very cumbersome set to sort of swoosh around. You can move the panels together, but you're mainly supposed to move them separately, as that's what we saw in the movie. But yeah, not a very swooshable set in my opinion, but it does look very cool when it's in flight mode, which I think, for me personally, for a display guy, it's a plus. That is the objective information I can think of on this set. Now to my personal opinion. I think the set looks great. I think for 2009, this is probably one of the sleekest designs they've ever made. I love the figures, the speeder, the overall just shaping, the fact that you can put the speeder in the back is all great. However, I do have some complaints, really only 2. And one of them is the fact that there's no sail, which, for the Solar Sailor, I feel like you kind of need. Granted, I don't know how they would do that or incorporate it and make it look good. So it's kind of, looks over accuracy, which for this set I can get behind, as the set, like I said, does look great. And my other gripe is that I think for $55 back in 2009, this should have included another minifig. I don't know what minifig, maybe an Anakin to sort of go against Count Dooku. But yeah, $55 for just 4 minifigs, 2 of which we get the exact same. Granted, it does have that somewhat exclusive pilot droid. I just feel like for $55 for minifigs, it's a bit much. Overall, though, I am in love with this set. It looks very sleek, very nice. The Count Dooku, the pilot droid, Magna Guard, everything just looks really nice. So for a rating, I'm going to give this set an 8 out of 10. Just the sail and maybe another minifig would have been nice, but this set just rocks. Maybe it's my nostalgia talking, but this set looks incredible, and I highly recommend it if you want one. If you enjoyed my video, make sure to like and subscribe, as it does help me out. Also, let me know in the comments what you think of this set. And as always, I will see you studs later.